Today, we go back to 1993 in this deep dive of the live-action Super Mario Bros. Movie. Trust the fungus on this episode of Podcasting with Power. Welcome to Podcasting with Power, your weekly source for Nintendo and video game news, reviews, and deep dive discussions. I'm Zachary Davis, and next to me there, as always, is Mr. Jordan Carlson. And if you like what we do, hit that subscribe button, leave us a comment, and follow us on social media at Pod with Power. All the links you need are in the description, below, above, depends on the platform you're on. But we are joined by a very special guest that we need to introduce before we get into the topic, because this is your fault. We, of course, are joined by Nick from the WASD and Beyond podcast, as well, and I want to point this out, too, because this is a movie topic today. It came from ScreamBox. So we're out here, we're doing one podcast a week. It's a little overwhelming. You're out here doing two. How does that go for you?
It doesn't go. So I don't play video games as much as I want to anymore. And if I do, I'm up till 2 because we're podcasting on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and those go usually like 2-hour sessions at a time.
Sure.
So it's fun, but it doesn't go. It gets done. The work gets done. But it's exhausting.
I like that you guys always have a little plan when you're done podcasting. That you always talk about right at the end. You're going to go do this. If it's Brody or Evan or whoever, they're going to go do that. I really appreciate that. So that's fun stuff. Now, of course, you do a little bit more variety than we do here. We are stuck in Nintendo land, which isn't so bad, and we bounce around. We talk about some other things, but I want the audience to get to know you a little bit. So what is I'm just going to spring it on you. What is your favorite game of all time?
If you somehow have listened to WASD and Beyond, you would know that the Half-Life series, Half-Life 2 specifically, is my favorite game of all time.
Sure.
Zach has heard me talk about Half-Life tons of times. I'm always saying it's coming. Half-Life 3 is coming. It's not. If it does, I don't know what I'll do. I'll explode. But yeah, the Half-Life series has been my favorite series and favorite games since I was like a kid. And now I have loved it so much I've gotten it tattooed on my body, and I have Half-Life paraphernalia all around me, and it's just a fun time over here. My wife loves it.
I bet. For audio listeners, Nick, of course, is repping the Valve brand with a Team Fortress t-shirt. That's always fun. Now, I do have to ask, because this is Podcasting with Power, what is your favorite Nintendo game of all time?
Majora's Mask.
Okay.
So I played a lot of Zelda growing up, loved Zelda, but Majora's Mask, because I was always a horror nerd. I loved horror movies, and I loved like scarier games. But I also had a 64, so when I saw that, man, I wish I still had the box, and I wish I still had the gold cartridge with like a lenticular on the front. Every time you move it, it would like shimmer and all that. But there was something about that mask that drew me in immediately, and I was like, okay, what is this? And then you load in, and it's just like, it's hell. It's totally different from Ocarina of Time. Like, it's much darker, and it's a lot sadder. And the mask maker, I'm trying to remember all of it as clear as I can, but like, it's something about that game where I was like, yeah, this is like my Zelda. That and Twilight Princess. That's also very dark Zelda, in my opinion.
Damn, he's you, Jordan.
Yeah, same page.
Nice. Yeah. I love it. And then the last video game question I'll ask you here is, what is the best game you've played recently? Whether it's this year or, just in the past year or so. Like, you play a lot of games.
Yeah.
I love hearing about it. You get to... It's not that I can't play these games on Steam, but like, I kind of wait for the Switch ports and all that kind of stuff. I feel like you are like that first line of defense, right? For some things, like Mugenics earlier this year.
Yeah, Mugenics was awesome. That was a great time, and I could play more of it. But those Edmund games, they kind of just beat you into the ground, and they spit on you when they're done with you. But then they want you to play more of it. As of recent, I played Replaced. And
that's right.
There was something incredibly special about that game. Sad Cat Studios created this awesome 2.5D like cyberpunk dystopian adventure side-scrolling game, and but like there's awesome combat, there's great hacking mechanics, there's awesome story. Like it's basically an AI that gets trapped into a human body, realizing, oh, I'm stuck here and I can't get out of this like flesh prison, and it gets so much deeper than that. It's awesome. So as of late, Replaced has been one of the best games I've played.
Very cool.
Absolutely.
That is sitting on my Xbox right now. It's on Game Pass, PC and console, so it's out there. Not on Switch as of yet, but someday.
I'm surprised it's not on Switch. It'd be like the perfect game for. It's perfect for if you have a Steam Deck or a Switch 2. This would look awesome on the Switch 2 and the Steam OLED, the Steam Deck OLED rather.
Well, cool. Well, all right. So that's a little bit of your gaming taste, but now it's time to question your movie taste, because this has been a long time coming, getting you on the podcast. You obviously have a lot of video game podcasting experience, so it was a natural fit. And so when we discussed, what we would talk about when you came on, you had one request, and why don't you tell us what that was?
My one request was to talk about the gem that is the Super Mario Bros. Movie from the 1990s. More specifically, 1993, correct?
Yeah, 1993.
This movie, man. I was a baby. I was like a very little dude. But I remember being like 6 years old on HBO.
Okay.
Like we just I forgot, like I think my dad stole it or something. He like had like put up the wires. Sure. But I saw this movie and I'm like, oh, what is this? And I just locked in. I'm like, oh, it's Mario and Luigi. This doesn't even make sense. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Okay. So we're all roughly the same age. I did not watch this movie until I was probably a little older than that. I was probably 8 or 9. I remember it was one of those where like mom's going out, dad's going to rent a movie, and that's what he picked. And so we watched that, and that was my experience. And I definitely remembered bits and pieces of it as I was watching it this week. But there was a lot I didn't recall. A lot of wild details, and I'm gonna save how I feel about the movie for a little bit here, but it was a trip watching it again. Jordan, how about you? This isn't your first time watching it, right?
Yeah, let's see. My first time watching it all the way back to yesterday morning.
Okay.
It was my first time watching it. Yeah, I've never watched it before. So I thought this was a cool topic because of that. I was pretty excited. I honestly just overlooked it, I guess. I knew it existed and was like, whatever,
Sure. But Nintendo doesn't remind us of it very often. They don't put it in our faces the way they do a lot of the nostalgic Nintendo stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't blame you. It's not exactly the easiest movie in the world to watch in 2026.
No, they scrubbed it. They've tried to scrub it.
Yeah, not on any streaming platforms or anything like that. My local library had a copy on DVD. Nick, you obviously have the copy there on DVD. But Jordan, I am curious because I let you know. I said, hey, I secured this. If you need me to come drop it off, let me know. You did not take that option.
Yeah.
I also let you know that there was a copy on the Internet Archive.
Yeah.
At the time I told you that, I didn't know was different than the movie I watched. So is that the way you watched the movie?
Well, that's what I did. So
okay. So apparently, and the details of this are kind of weird, right?
Okay.
In 2021, film restorationist Garrett Gilchrist released a semi-official extended cut of the movie based on an early VHS work print. This version is what you can find on the Internet Archive. It includes, is it what, Nick, about 20 minutes of extra content?
I think it's about 20 minutes because all in all, it's like 2 hours and something. That's how I watched it today, actually, all over again.
Okay.
I wanted to see that version because I had never seen that version. But yeah, it's like 2 hours long and it's about 20 to 30 minutes longer.
Very interested in what is there that isn't in the normal cut.
I know. I feel like you guys are going to mention stuff today and I'm just going to have no idea.
It's a lot of stuff that just got cut out because it shouldn't have been there. Like it's like a lot of flubs, in my opinion, or it's like like there is at one point where you can just see a bunch of extras not knowing what they're supposed to be doing. It's a lot of that, dude. You're just sitting there going, okay, I see why that was cut, or Mario shouldn't have said that. It's just like a lot of that throughout those like And you could see it. So in the version him and I watched, actually, Jordan and I watched, you could see like the marker points and like where it's actually like like scene S2 or like things like that. It's pretty interesting.
That's cool. That is cool. So they did release a 30th anniversary Blu-ray of this film as well.
Did they?
Oh, yeah, they did. It's called the Trust the Fungus Super Mario. I have it written here. Trust the Fungus Super Mario Bros. 30th Anniversary Collector's Edition. It was released in 2023, and it does feature a version that has these deleted scenes, but it's not the same restoration that you guys watched. So there is yet another. It's just the techniques, I think, are different, but it's mostly the same content. I think they used the same VHS work print even. So it's very similar. And then they did a 4K transfer, from what I understand, the following year. So,
so sweet.
There are ways to watch this movie if you are so inclined. But I advise maybe trying to do it for free, like we all were able to do.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, Nick, since you wanted to watch this movie, I have to just ask you straight up, how do you feel about this movie?
I love this movie. I think it's an important piece of history for like cinema and for video game movies. I think this is something
I would agree.
that I've always asked myself. What was Nintendo thinking when they just went, yeah, you guys, husband-wife combo, I believe. Yeah, you guys make the Super Mario movie and just go for it. And they just walked away and let them do their own thing. But I feel like it's so painfully 90s it hurts. And that's why I love it. I unironically love this movie like I love The Room. So there's like this like attachment that I have with it because I did see it at a young age. And I was like a kid telling all my friends, like, did you know there was a Super Mario movie? And they're like, no, there isn't. And I'm like, yeah, there is. And I would show my friends whenever it was on HBO and they'd be like, what nightmare did I just watch? And I'm like, it wasn't sweet. And they're like, no, like you suck and I don't want to hang out here anymore because the movie was really bad. But I love this movie. Unironically, I love it. It's so weird. And there's so much more I got to say, but I won't jabberjaw too much just yet.
I should have asked you up top, but how do you feel about Mario as a IP, right? Like, was this your first exposure to Mario?
No.
Or did you have some real Mario in your life before this?
Mario.
Yeah. Well, ironically, my little brother's name is Mario, but my dad loved Mario. He loved Donkey Kong. So we always had a Nintendo Entertainment System in our house. I still remember getting the Super Nintendo. I think we got it from like a Kohl's at the mall, and we had the Mario games there. It was the All-Star Collection, if I'm not mistaken.
Mario All-Stars.
Yeah. So we had a Mario All-Stars, and I've always loved I've always loved Mario, and I went and see the new movies too in theaters. So I love Mario as an IP.
Oh, and trust me, we're gonna compare this one to those newer films in a little bit here. But Jordan, as a first-time viewer, as a longtime Mario fan, we've talked a lot about your love for the plumber on this podcast.
Yeah.
What did this do to you psychologically?
What did this do to me?
Because you shared a story at ungodly hour of the morning, whenever you were watching this.
Yeah, no. So I had one of those mornings where I did not plan to be up, but I was. Okay. So I'm thinking, because I told Amanda before we went to sleep, I was like, tomorrow we have to watch this Mario movie. I just want you to know that.
Sure.
And she was like, all right. So I woke up and I was like, all right, fuck it. I'll get it out of the way. So like you had mentioned, I went on Internet Archive, I found it. And the funny thing about it is when I put it on, it didn't occur to me like I'm watching something from Internet Archive that was likely stitched together in a lot of different ways,
Yeah.
So I'm watching this like the first couple of scenes, and the story that I shared was when it was still black and white. It's like Land Before Time, pretty much black and white going on,
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck is this? What is this? Like, what is going on? And that's when I snapped that picture because I just couldn't believe it. But yeah, man. So yeah. After a couple of scenes, like you said, Nick, how they'd label, as you get to the different chapters or whatever. Like I didn't put that together, and then finally there was like a jarring transition where the quality took a dive, and I was like, oh, got it. Like that's what's going on. But I mean, honestly, overall, like, I don't want to give away everything just yet about how I feel entirely, but I think what Nick said, it sits right, because it's like there weren't a lot of, or really any, well, a couple. I had to Google it while you were talking, how many game adaptations there were for movies at the time. And we're talking a small handful. So that is obviously very cool because, like we're saying, I remember being in kindergarten and being like, I wish there was more. I wish there was more media. I wish there was something else. Like it's, like even when you see like the plushies and the action figures, like I'm excited about that, so it's like the fact that there was any other media, that's pretty cool,
Cool. I mean, that's a better endorsement than I would have guessed. As somebody who maybe didn't
I'm
grow
being
up
really nice.
I know, and that's fine. That's fine. I gotta tell you, having not watched this in a very long time, having a very patchy memory of the film, and reading my entire life about how bad this movie is on forums and things like that, right? This is a fun movie. It's a creative movie.
All
I had
right.
a lot of fun. Nick, you nailed it. It's very 90s. It's very specifically like late 80s, early 90s, like that Tim Burton Batman kind of feel. I love that they recreated or created all of these like city sets and made these big kind of playscapes for our characters to move around it. And they really move in this movie. I was telling Kali, because, you mentioned Amanda maybe not being so eager to watch this. Kali, when she found out we were watching this, insisted on watching it with me because she loves John Leguizamo.
I love him.
That is her favorite. And she insisted, and she had seen it before. As we were watching it, she probably remembered more of it than I did.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, she was like, oh, watch this. This is gonna. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, she's like, that toad guy is going to come out and sit on that seat. I'm like, I don't know what that means, but whatever I'm thinking is gross. And I hope that doesn't happen. And it did happen. But, we had a blast watching it. She called it the film of generation.
Oh.
And, which, she tends to label movies that way. Ambulance was another one. Remember that a couple years ago? Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
Generation. That one too.
That was, I believe, the last film of the generation before
oh my gosh.
we watched this last night. So we had a blast watching it. It's maybe not the best Mario adaptation in the world. There's more Mario stuff in it than I remembered.
Yeah,
definitely a lot of little references and things like that. And so that's cool. I wish that we would have got more of the music and that sort of thing, which is still something I think we struggle with now. We can hardly get, video game adaptations to use real costumes and music and things like that. So the fact that we got any at all is a little progressive for the time. But you guys both mentioned, like, there weren't a lot of these. There still aren't a lot of these. And in general, I feel like we're only starting to get movies that are really accurate to their kind of brighter source material, right?
Yeah.
It's 2026 and we're finally going to get a bright red and blue Spider-Man suit.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. Like, so even the fact that, maybe the costumes weren't 1-to-1 in this movie, they were a little crazy. I appreciated that they were at least red and green.
Yeah.
Eventually. Yeah.
Yeah. But you take the Mario out of it, I think this is a great film. I think it's a fun movie. I think Bob Hoskins is so fun to watch the entire time. A perfect choice. And not, I kept saying, I was like, they would never let Mario do this today. Basically anything he says and does in that movie. I'm like, they would never let the character Mario act like this. They would also never let him look like he was 65, but we'll get to that, I'm sure.
I liked like the ornery, crabby Mario though.
I do.
I love that. And like Luigi being like the young kind of like punk, like, whatever, stick in the mud. But like, there was none of like that cowardice in John Leguizamo's Luigi. It's like, this works because I don't know how established. Well, no, it's probably established at that point that Luigi's the coward. Mario is like.
So I wanted to bring that up. Not really, right? At this point, we've got the NES trilogy of games. We've got Mario World. We've got Land, which is Princess Daisy and all that. but that's kind of it. And I was wondering as we were watching things, I was like, is this why people always pair up like Luigi and Daisy? Is it because of this movie? Because there's not really anything in the games that leads to that, but it is just something fans kind of naturally do. Is this the first time Luigi was depicted as being taller than Mario? I don't think he was before that. I don't know.
That's interesting. That's
and even
weird.
just as I was, again, going back to Bob Hoskins, I'm watching him like move around and emote, and I'm like, he moves like Mario. Like, which at that time, Mario wasn't doing. He was just some pixels and he wasn't really moving. And so I'm like, I wonder how much this movie influenced little details like that in the Mario franchise even now.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair enough. I mean, I feel like Luigi was definitely interesting to me off out of the gate. You know what I mean? And I thought it was interesting when, he's talking about Mario and he's like my dad, he's my brother, and I was like, oh man, this is a strange dynamic. So, I mean, it is interesting to me though that I guess they didn't flesh that out yet. It was hard for me because we know so much now to like put myself in a position where I'm comparing it to what we knew then. You know what I mean? And like what wasn't already decided upon, kind of like what you're talking about. So, I mean, honestly, reflecting on it there's really a lot there. There's a lot to unpack there,
I think so. I mean, we've kind of danced around it a little bit. There's a significant age gap between Mario and Luigi in this movie.
Yeah.
And which is fine. I think it actually really works. This kind of like adopted sibling kind of father figure thing. But I said to Kali, I'm like, I love how a writer sat down and said, okay, I'm writing the Super Mario Brothers. First creative decision. They're not brothers.
Yeah.
Not at all. Bob Hoskins Mario's going to be twice as old as Luigi, and we're gonna run with that. And it works. I really like the dynamic. Like, as far as characters go, we only have a small cast of main characters, but do you guys feel like they work well with one another?
I do. I think, from who we see on screen, like our first introduction to Toad is pretty gnarly. He's a pretty cool character.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, how is this your representation of Toad? Like, it's just like some like kind of like rocker beatnik like music guy with like the swirly haircut thing going on, which is again painfully 90s.
Was that like so bare naked ladies to anybody else? Also, by the way, like I was like, oh my god.
Even the get up he's wearing, I'm like, all right, I see what we're doing with this. But I feel like Dennis Hopper will get into that because he got to set and went, I don't care about any of this. Yeah, I'm here. But like the rest of them, it's like I feel like there was like they were all working together to try to salvage what these two directors were doing because these directors didn't know what they were doing. So at this point, it's like the actors really like going, hey, like we got to get to the finish line somehow. Let's, I guess, just get there.
Yeah, and that kind of goes back to my comment about how like especially Mario and Luigi are just they're just in it. Like I feel like they yelled action and just, there's shots where John Link was almost just running, like clearly like there aren't marks or anything. Like he is just running around and, it works. It's fine. He's a good actor, but yeah, it's like, I can't imagine trying to coordinate any of this. And I don't think anyone did, that's the vibe I get.
I very much thought, this is a wild thing to say, I feel like, but I thought of Napoleon Dynamite so many times watching this.
Okay.
Just in that, because of what you're saying, like it's so obvious that it's not planned, but I think that's why if I'm going to say that I enjoyed it, I think that's why I enjoyed it so much, because it was fun and unexpected in a lot of those ways. And that was like, this is so obviously so far, this is so early on. We didn't have anything like that at the time. So it's interesting to compare it to something like Napoleon Dynamite because there's not a lot of things like that. And this is so early where it's like a lot of things were like that. You know what I mean? Games were like that in general. Like when we talk about N64 and you talk about sound clips and things you find on those cartridges sometimes, and it's like developers were just saying shit, and it's like so unplanned, and like the sound clips are just someone's brother, It's like thinking about that And then this movie, it's like kind of fitting. I don't know, you know?
Okay. I like that comparison. It's kind of a janky N64 style film. It does kind of come together that way. But it works.
Well, yeah, it does. I mean, you ever look, into Diddy Kong Racing and see how they did some of that stuff? I love it more.
Fair enough. I do have some movie stats for you.
Oh,
and
man.
boy, are they interesting.
Love
There's some nuggets in here for sure. So the Super Mario Brothers movie of 1993 was released on May 28th, 1993, coming up on an anniversary. It was directed by Rocky Morton and Annabelle Jankel, who were married at the time. And I wanted to see, what else either of them have done, whether together or separately. And it's not like they haven't done a lot, but they haven't done a lot of movies. They certainly haven't done a lot of big movies. Nick, you seem to be nodding your head there. I noticed a lot of music videos.
I was going to say it was a lot of music videos. I forget what artists they worked with, but I think they did like a ton of music videos.
Okay.
Before the Mario movie, and even after that, right? Or they were like cinema. They were like involved with like cinematography of some sorts. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, maybe this movie also caused them not to be married anymore, but it's just a rough go at it, dude.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting because, you never know how co-directed projects are going to go. There's obviously some successful cases of it, but when I saw that it was directed by two people right off the bat, I'm like, okay, that maybe explains a little bit here. The movie was written by Parker Bennett, Tony Runte, and Ed Solomon. It looks like a lot of other people did write drafts for this over the years, but these are the three that are credited. I couldn't find much on those first two, but Ed Solomon is the co-creator of the Bill and Ted franchise, and I believe wrote all of those. And he also wrote the first Men in Black. There's some other gems in there, but I thought that was interesting. The music, and I was excited to see this when it came over the credits. Alan Silvestri, who worked on a lot of Robert Zemeckis movies, Back to the Future, of course, Forrest Gump, but also the Avengers. The Avengers theme.
Wow.
He's worked on all of them except, I think, Age of Ultron. He's coming back for Doomsday as well. Predator is in his credits as well. So he, again, has some good stuff. And you feel it in this movie. It's got interesting music, I would say. I enjoyed it, but sometimes I felt like it was a little out of place.
Walk the Dinosaur rules, man. I love that song.
That stuff is all good. I'm talking more of the score, but yes, that's
the score. Yeah, okay, yeah. The score is all over the place.
A little bit. This was distributed by Buena Vista Pictures, produced by Hollywood Pictures, and I got really fixated on this when I saw that Hollywood Pictures logo, because I'm sure at some point I've seen that before. But when that flashed on screen first thing, I said, "Oh no, I've never seen this. This is a bad sign. I don't know if they're around anymore." And sure enough, they are not. They went defunct shortly after this, and then came back and went defunct shortly after that. A runtime of 104 minutes for the theatrical cut of the movie, and I guess you guys said it was closer to 2 hours, the version you watched. So that's a lot of movie there. A box office of 38.9 million on a budget of somewhere between 42 and 48 million. You can't account for 6 million in that. We don't know. But
hold on,
a failure.
Say that again. What was the budget?
Somewhere between 42 and 48 million.
Wow. All right.
I don't have anything more
massive.
specific.
Back in the 90s too. That's pretty.
That's hefty. I have to imagine that most of that went into set design and all that.
Sure,
it had to.
Well, and I mean, they clearly thought they were making a sequel. The way this movie ends is such a sequel setup, and just nothing. I think it was not going to happen with the way this movie performed. People call it one of the worst movies of all time. It's definitely got some stank behind it. But the cast, we've mentioned a lot of these already. Bob Hoskins as Mario. That's another one where I feel like this was, how you always see that on Tumblr. You'd always see, if they're the Mario brothers, then that must mean their last name is Mario. And it's like, no, that just comes from this movie. That's not someone pontificating. That's just, they make a point of that a lot in this movie.
I love that
They
scene.
hit you with that pretty quick out of the gate too.
They do, yeah.
Because I heard it immediately and was like, oh yeah.
Yeah. I just was surprised it was here. John Leguizamo plays Luigi Mario. Dennis Hopper, as we've mentioned, President Koopa, also King Koopa sometimes. Kind of just depends on the scene.
I'm glad that you're saying I was confused. Okay. So I was very confused by this.
There's also that one, he does pretend, and I forget the name, but he does pretend to be someone else for about 20 seconds. When he's interrogating Mario and Luigi. I don't really know why he bothers to do that, because he reveals very quickly that he just is President Koopa.
He gets super like pissed off. He's like, well, I'm that. What is the insult? Luigi hits him with like an insult, or like he baits Luigi into the insult, and then he just like, I'm that like lizard breath, lizard brain Koopa, and just like freaks out. And you're like, what was the point in that?
I know. And he's just such a quirky, weird character. Like when Mario goes to shake his hand and he won't do it, but then he immediately does it anyway. But then he's got to sanitize it. It's fun, but it's a little hard to predict. We've got Samantha Mathis as both Princess Daisy and the Queen in the very beginning there. And then, beyond that, there's a bunch of people who you probably will not recognize. So I'm not going to go through all of them. I was trying to place like the whole movie who Lena was, because I'm like, I know this face, and it's not Weird Al, who looks a lot like this woman. But
I know. I did the same thing.
And did you figure out who it was?
Oh yeah, quick though, so quick.
Oh, it took me the whole movie.
I cannot believe that. I cannot believe that.
Aunt Petunia of the Harry Potter
films,
which are not my favorite, but the whole time I was like, I know who this is. Who it was killing me. And then just a couple of voiceover nods here. Frank Welker voices Yoshi and Goomba, the Goombas. And then, of course, Fred Jones and, as of 2002, Scooby-Doo. So there you go. You've heard that voice plenty. And then Dan Castellaneta is the narrator at the beginning of the film. Homer Simpson narrates this film.
In the version we watched...
Oh, God.
Just so we're aware, the dinosaurs in the animated portion do not speak.
Okay.
In the theatrical version and the version everyone else watched, if you didn't watch on the Internet Archive, you see the dinosaurs going, "They don't get much better than this," and then like a meteor hits the earth. They're actually like talking and stuff. And it's like this whole thing where you're like, "What did I?" Because if I would have seen that in theaters, I would have been like, What is this? I don't know what the hell is happening."
The shock on Jordan's face just now while you were explaining that.
I love that.
It's priceless.
That's hilarious. Why would that not be in that version?
I don't think the animation was ready.
Oh,
yeah.
Dang.
So go ahead.
No, I don't know. I don't really know how we're gonna. Do you have like a roadmap for how you would like to unpack this? I'm afraid of going ahead. Is what I'm trying.
No, I don't. I've got just a bunch of random little trivia things, so I'm sure I'll just throw stuff in there as we get to them. But no, by all means.
Well, since I'm the only one who hasn't seen this before, obviously, not everybody was doing a lot of Googling, but I was Googling my fucking shit off the whole movie. Like, who is this supposed to be?
Okay.
The first I Googled it was Big Bertha, which is very confusing. I was like, who? Jumping shoes? And like, who is this supposed to be? Yeah. And Big Bertha is like a cheap, I thought.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I was really confused by that. But it's like, in the jumping shoes, was that just supposed to be like, because they jump?
Yeah, I think that was just give them a reason to jump high but slowly.
What you mean, like twice in the movie?
Yeah,
like twice, and then for some reason, for no reason, later in the movie, she's like, "Yeah, Luigi, use my jumping shoes."
Yeah, as her and Mario were like pontificating together about S&M, like, "Well, you could hit me," and she's like, "Dance with me, and I'll hit you all you like." And I'm like, "This is technically a kids' film. Like, what are we doing?"
I just love the second time we see her in the club seat and she's just hitting people, walking around hitting people. I was like, I like this lady's attitude. I like that she's just going where she wants, hitting who she wants. I love it. When you get to, what are they called? The alternate New York, the evil New York. But when you get there, Kali was like, why does everyone have to be so mean here? Like, they don't have to do this, but they do. They all just buy into it.
Was that supposed to be the Mushroom Kingdom at one point? Until like the king is like, because this movie's also gross. I'm going to say it. I love gore. I'm a horror hound. And I'm watching this movie. Everything squelches in this city. everything has got like a I'm just going to use it because you said a stank to it. You can like look there and go, I don't want to touch any of this shit.
No.
And it's like all slimed up. So like I'm sitting there going, what about Mario? Because the mushrooms, we're really going to lean full into the mushroom thing. But like, is that the Mushroom Kingdom at one point? And now it's all messed up because Koopa took it over. And now it's just like industrial 90s, like where Trent Reznor has dreams or what? I'm confused here.
I was also thinking about, I don't want to, get too far into the comparison thing, but, and I could be totally wrong here, but in the new Mario, you know how they go through the wall and then they're in that Bowser casino?
Yeah.
And in this movie, they go through that weird, like, they like go through is it the floor or the wall? I can't remember, but they go
through like the cave wall.
Thing. And I was like, oh my God, I wonder is that supposed to be like a reference to it? Because I knew that the first Mario movie, I remember reading, there's a lot of references to the original, which I thought was cool. And you would have you would have thought maybe we would have gotten back and watched it because I know we were talking about it. But no, after seeing the new one and now watching the old one, I'm seeing things like, oh man, okay, so that was like a callback to this, which is awesome.
Definitely.
But I immediately was like, oh shit, that's like, because I remember when we left the movie, that was one of the things I was like, where the fuck? Why the wall? Why was that there?
That's a really good point.
I want to make sure, before we make a ton of comparisons to it, you have seen the Mario Galaxy movie, correct, Nick?
Yeah, I took Landon Easter weekend.
Sure. Yep. I just want to make sure we're not giving anything away there. Of course, the weapon that turns the Mario Brothers into babies in the Galaxy movie is the evolution gun that we see in this movie quite a bit, which is fun. Which is basically just a super scope. But totally lost my train of thought. Oh, we were talking about the Mushroom Kingdom and how I do think at the end, they name check Mushroom Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like I heard that and I was like, oh, we've kind of avoided that this whole time, but now we're gonna say it. But it's like they didn't know what to do. It's like they looked at the games and they said, what can we adapt and what can't we adapt? And they basically had one big pile of we can't adapt that. And then they had a very tiny pile of things we can adapt, which was mostly names and red and green. And that's kind of it. And
some props.
And some props, we got the Bob-omb and things like that, which is always cool.
The bullet bill is just what that went into the shoe.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
So, we get some things like that, but then we also get some horrific, like how do you get that Goomba design from a Goomba? I'm going to put a Goomba on screen. We've all seen a Goomba. We've all been seeing Goombas for 40 years. And then they made that.
Tell me when they made The Amazing Spider-Man, they didn't reference that for
the lizard?
Yeah, man. Seriously. Okay. I'm serious. Look at that. Like I was when I was watching this, I was like, dude, this is so similar to that. But also was like, what the fuck, man? Like, that's insane. I have no idea how you get point A to B on that one, but yeah.
I do
like it. You gotta give it to him though for the practical effects of it all, because those are just the version that you and I also got to watch, Jordan, these actors, you could see them struggling in these like alternate scenes that never got released to, like in the theatrical cut. They're like, oh shit, dude. They're like shambling everywhere. Their little heads are bobbling around. You're like, why did you made it hard for everybody, dude. I think it's not at all a Goomba, but man, are they scary looking at times. And then you realize they're just
100%.
Yeah. Super I like the design a lot. It's just it's interesting to go, okay, that's what we came up with. And then you've got things like Yoshi, which is just a straight up dinosaur.
Yeah.
The puppet was so sweet. It's like I have it in my note, Yoshi generic dino, but puppet cool. Because like dangle something in front of my face, I'm stoked on that. But like I like that it was all practical. Because obviously, I mean, there's some CGI here and there, but most of it, you're like, that's sweet. I'm wondering, because when I see stuff like that, I'm like, where is that now? Where is that prop now? So I'm wondering where like all of this is just in some dude's garage who worked on the film. Like, I don't know what to do with this anymore. But that's my tirade for a moment.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. It's always refreshing going back to kind of films of this era, pre-CG. I said to Kali, I'm like, this is the same year that Jurassic Park came out. So imagine you saw this dinosaur movie. Everybody else is seeing that dinosaur movie. Two very different experiences. But I like this for what it is. And like I said earlier, like the sets are huge. And I love that. I love the ice slide kind of towards the end of the movie, and how I have to assume they didn't make those actual Goomba guys do that. I would hope that's a mannequin or something. I don't know, but with how this film was made, who knows? It could very well just be a clump of Goomba dressed men. But
in the Internet Archive, that's a very long. That's longer than what you see in the original film. It's like I looked down, I was messing around with my phone. I'm like, oh shit, they're still sliding. There's just dudes going. I'm like, oh okay.
There were a couple of times that I had to like rewind because I was doing the same thing. Like I would be on my phone reading something. Like I was paying attention, but like Googling things that were happening, trying to kind of make sure that I understood what was supposed to be what. And then I would look up and be like, there's no way that nothing happened between now and the last time I looked, And honestly, the last 40 minutes, that was tough. It was tough. I was like, I gotta see it through. I gotta finish this movie. But like things did go on for a long time,
I was gonna say, like I said, the official runtime here for the theatrical release is 102 minutes. I felt like this was a long movie. And I didn't hate it, but I was kind of like, okay, like we're still like that final climactic fight. I was like, this is going on a very long time. So I can only imagine what that was like in the extended cut that you guys watched. But yeah, I was feeling it for sure.
That end fight sucks.
Yeah.
It could have been you could have done so many cooler things. And like some of like the way Dennis Hopper calls things are, he's like, ba-bomb. And you're like, yep, that's what that is. Or like the whole monkey thing. He's like, monkey. He's like super pumped on that. I do like the pizza joke though. Throughout the entire like second half of the film.
Oh yeah.
Koopa orders a pizza. And it's this whole thing, and then he's like, "Where's my pizza?" And at the end, he's like, "Where's my pizza?" And then the pizza guy, in our version, when the boss fight is done, he just throws the pizza. He's like, "Here's your pizza, Koopa." He just drives off all angsty and stuff. That was sweet.
What happens in the other version?
I don't think there's any payoff for the pizza.
There's no pizza payoff.
There's no pizza in the other version,
and the guy is like, "Hey, your pizza's ready," and it's just No, I don't think there's any payoff for the pizza, but it is throughout. You're right. Like,
I don't know why you would not finish, like, give the joke the punchline at the end of the movie.
Yeah, I don't know. We when we went to Chicago a while back now, a couple months ago, we were just in the hotel putting on something to watch, and one of the movie channels had Speed on, also starring Dennis Hopper. Because when we started this, I was like, what did we just see him in? And Carly called up that it was Speed. And she's like, it's basically the same character. Like, he's just erratic and mean. And, and she's right. It very much is a similar vibe. But I think very well cast. I think our main trio of actors here are very well cast. But I actually have a bunch of almost castings that happened here. So do you want to go through and kind of hear who could have been your Mario, Luigi, and Bowser?
I'm pumped on that.
All right. Well, first of all, I should let you know that Dustin Hoffman really wanted to play Mario. Okay, he tried to buy the rights to make this movie in 1990 because his son was a big fan and he wanted him to play Mario. So he very much wanted to play Mario. He wanted Danny DeVito to be his Luigi and Barry Levinson to direct. He had worked with in the past on things like Rain Man. So that was Dustin Hoffman's dream. Okay.
Wow.
That would not be the last time, though, that Danny DeVito was considered for the Super Mario Brothers movie. He was offered both the role of Mario and the option to direct the movie.
Oh.
I don't know. You probably know more about this than I do. Does Danny DeVito direct, Nick?
I don't know.
I don't
think so. I just know he messes. He's Frank, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean,
so that's Danny DeVito. He's in Twins with Arnie, but I just thought he was an actor. I didn't know Danny.
Yeah.
I don't.
This would have been around the time of the Penguin, Batman Returns.
Okay.
I think the previous year, but apparently he didn't want to be involved. They really wanted him to be part of this project, and he just wasn't having it. So yeah, you've got Danny DeVito as Mario. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Michael Keaton were both approached to play Koopa. Okay,
that could have been sick.
You can see Michael Keaton in the Dennis Hopper portrayal. Mm-hmm. You could absolutely see him doing that. Arnold would be a little different of a vibe, I think. It always is, but it would have been cool. You would have had that physicality. And then they were considering Tom Hanks to play Luigi.
I think that's too wholesome at that point. You need some of that John Leguizamo angst.
But they dropped him because of a series of box office failures. So they looked at Tom Hanks and said, no, you can't bring in a crowd. He would, of course, go on, I think, the next year to do Forrest Gump. And
then Toy Story.
Yeah. So, yeah, he certainly had an upswing after this. But
I have one thing that I had to Google this when we were talking about Danny DeVito being a director. So I looked through his catalog. He's directed a handful of times.
Okay. Anything good?
He only has, in my opinion, one that sticks out, but he directed Matilda.
Okay.
What?
Which he is in. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. I
did not know that. That's crazy to me. I had no idea.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, everything else, I'm looking at his roster here and I don't see anything else that really jumps out at me, but that's crazy.
No, that's a good find.
Yeah.
So we have those names there. I did find some other ones. I wasn't able to really source these as well as I could the other ones. I was able to find articles and things like that. But apparently John Goodman was considered for Mario.
Oh my God.
You can kind of see it,
too
but
big.
Different vibe. And yeah, a little too physically big. Steve Buscemi, Keanu Reeves, and Matthew Broderick were all considered as Luigi.
The human cigarette as Luigi would have been sweet, dude.
My God.
Honestly, of those three, Keanu's kind of the odd one out, I feel like. The other two I can see.
Well, Keanu was headed into his fucking... Well, maybe it was already in his... he had a lot going on in the 90s. So, I mean...
Yeah, early 90s. And then for Koopa, they were looking at Jack Nicholson, Christopher Walken, and Tim Curry.
All of that could have been... Tim Curry?
All of it could have been great.
Wow.
I think Jack Nicholson would have came off too much like 89
Joker.
Batman. I think it would have just been the same movie had he done that. Not necessarily a bad thing, but yeah. So those were some fun almost castings we could have got. I'm really happy with the trio we did get.
Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't remember loving this movie as a kid, but yeah, something just clicked this time. I get it.
I loved it, man. I just loved the angsty 90s, shit, this movie. It made me feel cool to know that I was one of those, because I felt like the chosen one, right? Because, other kids I knew who, liked Nintendo a lot more didn't know this existed. And I'm like, how do you not know this? You're like the Nintendo kid. And, I put my nose up in the air like an asshole. But, it made me stoked to know, I know this piece of history that Nintendo hates to talk about.
Yeah.
And, all through, my teen, age years and all that, I'm telling people you gotta see the Mario movie. They're it doesn't exist. I'm yes, it does. It's right here. And because I've had this copy of the movie for so long, and I'd show people and they're this is a fever dream. I'm yeah, but it's sweet. Nintendo hates that we watch it, and it was cool, man. This movie is just it's something, man.
So it's funny that you mentioned that they, really don't want people to talk about this movie, to know about this movie. At the time, that wasn't necessarily the case. So after the success of Super Mario Brothers, a lot of different producers and companies wanted to, get a piece of this pie here. In 1989, Nintendo gave DIC Entertainment the rights to make a film out of the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, but it never happened. I mentioned Dustin Hoffman trying to buy the rights himself. And then, of course, when Leitmotiv, who helped produce this movie, approached Nintendo, Nintendo kind of just let them have it. And they were not... Their pitch was, we'll give you more creative control than the big studios will. And Nintendo said, we don't care. We don't want creative control. You do what you're going to do. Mario's big enough that you can experiment with him and it's not going to damage the brand in any way.
That's insane to think about.
And then it did. So they obviously have a very different approach now.
Yeah. How'd they get there? I wonder. Was it here? Was it this?
I think so. I mean,
this with the Super Show and the Zelda show, and they're like, enough is enough.
Yeah. But we eventually got it. So as the three of us have all seen the animated Super Mario Brothers movie and Super Mario Galaxy movie, I think there's no question that those are maybe better adaptations of the Mario franchise than this is. But as movies, I want to ask you, which would, and I think we have different Jordan and I have different opinions about the Galaxy movie. Nick, we'll talk a little bit about yours as well.
Yeah.
But as if you had to, let's rank the 3 movies. How would you do it?
Who's going first?
I think you, baby.
Damn it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we don't know. We don't know your extended hour-plus long feelings on the Galaxy movie like we know each other, so.
Okay. So it's going to be the first brand new Super Mario movie for me.
Okay.
Super Mario Bros. 1993. And then Galaxy. I felt like the first new Super Mario movie was paced perfectly. I felt like it was just a just awesome time in theaters, especially like, you know, with my son. And then watching it, I'm like, oh, this movie is just that good. And then Super Mario Bros. Just like, I can't wait to show him that movie. Like, dude,
I was going to ask you
out.
because I know he's a big Mario fan. We've talked about the talking flower and things like that.
That thing sucks, dude. I shouldn't have bought that.
Do you have it within arm's reach?
No, it's upstairs. It's upstairs. It sucks, dude. It's
in my Amazon cart right now.
It looks nice. Don't put batteries in it.
Okay. So if I put it for comedic effect, if I have it in the closet, will that be funny or?
You will scare people. It'll just go off. It's like a Furby, dude, but like Super Mario.
Oh, I literally made the exact same comparison. 100%. And that's why I think I will weirdly like it, but
not at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
It sucks around there.
Well, I mean, Jordan's up watching the 1990s Super Mario Brothers movie at 6 a.m, so won't be.
That's so good.
Won't be that bad. But yeah, buy the talking flower at your own peril. But yeah, do you think he will enjoy this movie the way you do, and maybe the way he enjoys the other ones? No,
it's gonna piss him off.
Okay,
he's just gonna be like, "That's not Super Mario. What are you talking about?" I'm like, "This was Mario for me." Like, yeah, I mean, nowadays I can watch this film and go, "There's nothing really." There is like DNA of Mario and Luigi and like that wonderful world, but it's like a stepbrother kind of, man. It's just, it's there, but yeah, it's gonna piss him off. This movie's gonna make it's fair. But like, I think if I don't tell him it's a Mario movie and I just go check this thing out, he'll be like, "Oh, that's cool." But then he'll see things and go, he's like, "What? That they called him Toad because he loves Toad." Okay, but like even Toad's gonna make him mad because he doesn't have the Toad, like the mushroom on his head.
He's not Toad. He's Toad in name alone. That's
he's angsty.
I mean, I don't have a ton to add, but yeah, I would rank them the same way as you did. I think the 2023 Mario Brothers movie, the 93 movie, and then Galaxy. Because honestly, you know, we talked about my big problem with Galaxy was the character development or lack thereof. And this movie does a lot with that. I love the characters of this movie. They feel real, as ridiculous as they are. And as the Mario Galaxy, not apologist, but a sympathizer, how do you feel about this compared to those two movies?
You're talking to me now?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So I think I have a different perspective because it wasn't nostalgic to me. And I can respect that feeling because I have that feeling too, for a lot of things. When something is something to you because it was something big for you. And that, honestly, hearing other people say that, that like has a special place, it makes me respect things more, like just even the source material when I know that's something like that for somebody else, even though most things are probably that for somebody. But when you talk to somebody about it, I just love that. But I have to say, because I'm newer to it, I would rank it differently. And honestly, and I won't go down this too much, I know we're not talking about the newer movies, but now that I've sat on the newest, Mario Galaxy, now that I've sat on that, I do feel differently than I did, in a more positive way. I know I was pretty positive initially, but even more so than that, my biggest problem, like you said though, Zach, is the character development stuff. Like that sucks, when you don't pace that correctly. But everything else, just with how much fun I had watching it, like that is magic to me. And there was a lot of moments in the newer movies that had that. And it was cool to see it on the big screen in the way that we remember it from the games. And because of that, I would have to put those two above it for my list. But like you said, Nick, there's obviously DNA from Mario in the 93 movie. And I mean, as bad as the movie was to me, I did enjoy those bits and pieces. It's fun to see history like that, you know.
Okay, very cool. We're kind of gonna wrap things up here, but Nick, before we started recording, you had mentioned some behind the scenes shenanigans, and I know you've kind of alluded to a little bit of that here and there. Some stories maybe about the way certain people behaved on set. I would love to hear that because I don't really have a lot of that.
Yeah, so it's heavily rumored that Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo were just over it and were getting drunk on set.
Okay.
So that scene when they're actually driving the van, the Mario Brothers van,
yeah,
they crashed it into something, and one of them like broke their wrist or like cut their hand open. So in one of the scenes, it was John Leguizamo. He messed or yeah.
No, so I have that
was
here.
It
I
Bob
didn't know
Hoskins?
The drinking part. But yeah, John Leguizamo was driving the van. Bob Hoskins slammed his hand in the door.
And he's wearing a cast in the movie at one point.
Yeah, they had to hide it like throughout certain scenes.
They were drinking and driving, essentially, is what was on like a closed set. I mean, okay, I'm not defending that. Okay, I'm not defending drinking and driving. I'm saying this is a closed set. Though.
Yeah.
Not good.
I do, again, I didn't look too deep into a source for this, but the Mario Wiki does have a little factoid here that Bob Hoskins, John Leguizamo, and Dennis Hopper have all said that this was the worst filming experience of their lives.
Yeah.
And, I believe
they look miserable at times.
They do.
I mean, there's a quote on, I'm on Reddit here, of course.
Okay.
I always end up back on Reddit. Says, Bob also gave us this quote in his opinions of the movie. The worst thing I ever did, Super Mario Brothers. It was a fucking nightmare. The whole experience was a nightmare.
Okay. Well, we love it anyway. Rest in peace.
I wonder if John Leguizamo had a better time playing clown in Spawn or being Luigi and Mario. Because in Spawn, he was on his knees in that suit. So I'm wondering, like, I would love someone to ask him that.
I mean, I bet it's close. I bet it's, I don't know. This seemed pretty bad. But I am very glad this movie exists. This feels like you name checked The Room earlier, Nick, which is something I've gone to screenings for before. I would love if this came to a movie theater chain. I would absolutely go see this.
We could make it happen.
We can make it. Well, we'll have to get this trio together. Sorry, Jordan, but we'll have.
I'll go. That's fine.
Yeah, maybe there are traditions like there are for things like The Room and Rocky Horror.
There has to be. Screen. This has got to be like this. If not, we'll just like lie about it online until it's like, yeah, did you hear that this is happening everywhere around America? It's like Mario Day, but like with the 90s film. It's like, yeah, cool, that lie worked. And then we have to figure out how to distribute it and see if we can. I wonder if this is like, how do you even get the rights to something like this now? Because I'm not seeing. Here's the thing. On the physical copy.
Okay.
It doesn't say Nintendo anywhere.
Yeah, so I noticed that. Like, Nintendo is all over the credits of the newer Mario Brothers movie, right up, at the title as well. And really not, they're not showcasing that here. And I think that's more of a movie studio thing. I think that was more Disney being like, no, this is our movie. Like,
I forgot Disney technically owns this movie.
Yeah.
There's no way they would. Yeah. They'd probably like, yeah, here you go, you little piss ants. Go get it around theaters, I guess. I don't know.
If somehow this movie made it into theaters again, but the premiere of Stranger Things didn't make it to Michigan theaters, I'd be like, wow. Okay.
Well, road trip then.
It could be our fault if this movie does that. And then people are going to blame us.
Well, I mean, what do we have? We have 7 years to create a campaign for the 40th anniversary of this film to, maybe get a high profile release, maybe a small theatrical release. That's probably the best we could do.
See if we can get maybe John to come.
Yeah, I mean, sure. Why not?
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Have you guys seen, what is that? Not Silent Night, Violent Night. You seen that?
I have not seen that yet. I need to.
With now, of course, I'm blanking, but the guy from Stranger Things.
Wait, what?
And Thunderbolts. I can't think of his name.
Oh, oh shit.
Well, he plays Santa Claus.
And he plays Hellboy now too.
Yeah.
David Harbour.
David Harbour. Shit, yeah.
And John Leguizamo is an excellent villain in that movie. So highly.
You guys ever seen The Pest?
I have not.
Oh my god, yeah.
I love The Pest, dude. Pest is so good. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, wow.
Well, this has been fun. We obviously don't get. I feel like, of course, in the past couple of months we've done several movie topics, but generally that's not something we get to do here. So it's a fun change of pace. Nick, I appreciate you coming on and adding your expertise to the conversation, because there's no way we could have covered this movie on our own. I feel like.
Yeah.
I don't know that we would have ever gotten to it, as much as it is part of Nintendo's history. But yeah, no, I appreciate you spurring that along. So thank you so much. Can you share with the people watching and listening how they can listen to more of you? Because it's something I recommend doing.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me on to talk about Nintendo's bastard son of a film.
Sure.
But everyone can, if you go to Twitter or wherever on social media, Beyond WASD, because somebody else stole WASD Beyond.
Okay.
So we had to go backwards. So we're just Beyond WASD all over the place. You can check us out on Spotify, Apple, anywhere you listen to podcasts, WASD and Beyond. Also, It Came From ScreamBox is a movie podcast that is becoming something different eventually soon. Still a movie podcast, but we're going to expand our horizons.
Okay. Very cool.
So there's tons of cool stuff there. And yeah.
Okay.
Check us out anymore.
Yeah, we'll get that on screen for people to see. We'll get the links in the descriptions for those podcasts as well. And until next time, this has been Podcasting with Power. You can, of course, subscribe to this show, leave comments, let us know what you think about 1993's Super Mario Brothers film, and follow us on social media at Pod with Power. As always, that is in the description as well. Until next time, I'm Zachary, that's Jordan, and that's Nick. Bye-bye.
See ya.